Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard Flying with Mike, Alaskan style, if you will. We're in the Flying Alaskan Bush series and the Caravan today. And no guarantees, but we are going to try and put 2 flights on the books today, 2 short ones, both about 70 to 100 miles each. Um, the book kind of shows them longer, but they seem like they're going to fly a little quicker. So, without further ado, we do have the Caravan lined up, November 411 Gulf Victor for ERA, now called Raven, R-A-V, actually R-A-U-N, but they pronounce it Raven. So, hope to have a good time here today, flying out of Ambler, which is where we left off at, headed to Huslia, I believe is the way it's pronounced. Let's see here. I just want to make sure. Huslia, Papa Alpha Hotel Lima, and flying mileage calls it 130 miles. But as we'll find out, hopefully with Sim Toolkit, it'll be a little shorter. So as you see the Caravan staring in front of us, and I really do like this actual paint scheme for it. I know it's pretty blah, but I actually kind of like it. So, well, without further ado, let's get those passengers coming out of the terminal here and let's get rolling. Speaking of passengers, the manifest is calling for 7 peeps on board and 100 pounds of cargo, 1,289 pounds of fuel. So let's do that first. Let's get us loaded up here. So we'll zero that out and zero that out. That wasn't what I wanted. There we go. There we go. Okay, so once again, we're looking at payload of 1570. That doesn't sound right. Hang on a second. It is right. Okay, just my stupidity. No problems. 1570. Moving up to the fuel load. 1289. Okay, that brings us up, and the aircraft is now loaded as we apply the changes. So we'll get the peeps loading up here. All right. Currently, let's, one thing else, let's just kind of take a walk around it. We'll kind of go high to go over the hangar here. But there you go, folks. Gives you a better view of the aircraft from the hangar here. It's still sitting out on the ramp, the plane we flew in right behind it. Oh, excuse me. And believe me, that plane was thought about it being flown on this today just because I actually had a fun time with it. But this one, we should be able to load everything into that GPS perfectly, so we shouldn't have any troubles. It looks like my laptop's trying to have troubles here, so hang on a second. Can't tell if I think it locked up. It sure did. All right, well, we'll come back to that once we get airborne. Okay, it's doing what it's going to do, which is usually something stupid, so we're not going to pay attention to it. But let's kind of keep the walk around going, and you can kind of see how it looks. All right, I know I did that kind of fast. This is the Carenado Cessna 208, not the 1000. The 1000 is a full glass cockpit. This one has gauges. And so with that, we're going to get things ready to roll here. Get the right checklists in place, and we're going to get going with it. All right, so we've got the aircraft loaded with 1,570 pounds of payload, 1,289 pounds of fuel. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to go through real quick before getting into this, and I don't think there is. If we do a second flight, and again, the key word here is if, that'll be from where we land, Huslia, up to Kabok. Now, whoever created this series of flights we've been doing, the prop tour of Alaska, part 2 now, we've already done part 1. We're on the 6th leg of the this second prop tour. It's kind of interesting when you look at the map. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bring some toolkit over. So bear with me a couple of seconds. Coming over right now. And what I'm going to do is kind of make it a little larger, because for this, we may want to take a look and get a better feel for. Okay. All right, so here is the loadout, so you can see it. We're planning 7,000 feet, and the airfield we're at is Ambler, PAFM. Feel free to join us. We're in X-Plane on VATSIM, so feel free to join in. It's 293 feet above the sea level. Runway 1 is our planned departure, which I think is the one right out in front of us here, and it's 4,000 feet long. And then you can see our really tough flight plan, folks. It took a lot of work to make this come together right, as you can tell. Then here's our arrival, Papa Alpha Hotel Lima, Huslia. Runway 21 is where we're aiming for, and that's also a 4,000-foot runway. So, and it's 220 feet up from sea level, so we're at about the same level. As you look in the background, you can kind of see the mountains. All right, so, actually in the foreground, I should say. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's slide this one out. Real quick look at the flight plan. Mac Air or Mac 572 is what we're going to be flying under. 130 miles, 333 degrees at 5 is our average wind. And the routing is, well, our alternate is Fairbanks. Here's the routing to there. Here's the route we have. And it's basically fly direct to Attico, get on the Victor 531 to HSL, and guess what? We're at the airport. So, breakdown of our times, it's an hour and 10-minute scheduled flight, may take an hour and 20, we'll see. And then our weights. There's our 7 peeps and 100 pounds of cargo. All right, so, and I already know what's going to probably come up. Hang on a second as I work this issue. Well, no, we're not going to deal with NavGraph. You know what? We're just not. Goodbye. SkyVector. All right, that was the flight on Monday. Mid-America Airport over to Fort Hood. So we're at PAFM, PAHL. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and switch into World VFR. And I'll explain why, because I don't think Fairbanks covers this. Yeah, it's just barely on it. So it makes it real hard. But if you go to World VFR, it does cover it. Okay, so now the reason, where'd it go? Okay, there it is. All right, so this is our, oh, let me put in our route real quick. That way you can kind of see how this is going to shape out. Okay, so here we go, coming down, coming over, and you can see why I said it's about 100 miles. We're cutting off a lot. The first route we got had it coming something like this and then down. I went to this fix instead. Now, this is leg one, 99, call it 100 miles. Our next airport is right here. Why he didn't just go to here or to Nuvik Pass, which is where we'll fly to from this location out, beyond me. It's not for me to worry about. He developed it all within his purview. But yeah, just to give you, so we're going to be coming down here to here, then we're going to come back to here to here. Kind of neat. We're only going to be about 100 miles, not even that, 50 to 25 to 50 miles apart by the end of the day. Kind of fun. All right, so you can see the mountain range off the nose. Right there it is. Little bit of bumps in the way as we come down here. So it's going to be a fun flight. Oh, and I did forget to say one thing. It's VFR, folks. So, folks, if you're into VFR, general aviation flying, Alaska's your place today. All right, so we've shown that good stuff off. So, you know what? It's only fitting that we get this show on the road. So, heading over, we've done the pre-flight, we've done the weight and balance. We're closing the doors up right now so the peeps can start warming up. And oh, by the way, the weather here is, as you can see, clear. 9 degrees Celsius, folks. For those of us that live in the Fahrenheit world like me, let's mark that at almost 50 degrees. Really a good day to go flying, folks. So come on, let's go flying with Mike. Hang on a second. Why do I have... Okay, there we go. Oh, much better. All right, so anyway, just another reason. However, looking off to the, let's see, we're facing to the north and east, there is some clouds. We'll deal with them. Again, we're gauging this to be at about 7,000 feet. All right. So like I said, we're going to close up the doors and the people in the back are going, no, leave them open for now. Okay. And let's get rid of all those fun statics. Now I wish, the one thing, if I was to be asked by Carenado, that I wish they would do, especially with the C208, is that this pogo stick back here, which is required, they're going to need it to be able to load people in the back because it will tip, um, be an option either on this screen or on this screen, not as a total package under static elements. See if you watch. See, they all come. But if we could get rid of that and just have the pogo stick, you know, make it more pilot driven, I would really appreciate that. Would make my day. But they don't ask me. I'm just the pilot that gives them the money so they can do as they please. And after watching a couple of other streams, I may get into some others. There's a couple of others that I really like. And if they're in X-Plane, I may be getting them over here. All right, so we've got everything taken care of to this point. The doors are closed, crew doors are locked, parking brake. Parking brake on this plane. Now I have moved the steering wheels out, is right here. Just make sure it's pulled all the way out. Seatbelts, harnesses, they're on. Ignition is at normal. Okay, so we're going to come over here. The ignition is this one, so is back to normal. On is forward. Circuit breakers are in. There they all are. They are all in. Radar's off. Fuel tanks are in both. Fuel tank selector is up at the top, as is the oxygen. We'll go ahead and turn the oxygen on. They're both on. We don't have an inverter, so we don't have to worry about that. However, the air conditioning is off. That's right here. Bleed air is off, and all the push-ins are pushed in. Okay, so emergency power we're going to leave off. Power lever, that's this one. Idle. Props, the blue lever. Propellers, full forward. Let me rephrase that. Propeller. We only have one. And fuel condition lever, your fuel lever is all the way back in the cutoff position. Okay, rudder locks are off. Fuel tank shut off, that's this right here, is pushed in. Wing flaps, they are in the up and showing up position. No smoking, we do not have that button on the plane. If so, they would be right here. And we don't have them. Shame. I'd love to have those too. There's a few buttons there that should be there that aren't. And we'll do the annunciator test. Only reason I went straight up is a little easier to see. Okay. Oh, wait. You know, it does help. Engine fire. And all of them. Day, night. And there you go, folks. All right. So there we go. We've got before start completed. Moving on now to the engine start from the battery. First thing we got to do is close our door. Okay, and with that door closed, we want to turn the battery switch back on. Voltometer. Shows it's discharging. And the volts, okay. Okay, we got to clear the prop area. Clear prop. Okay, so fuel pumps, auxiliaries on. Ignition to on. Standby power to on. And ignition to on. Now what I am going to do is kind of zoom in so we can kind of see our N1. Beacons on so people know the blade's about to turn. I do like that view, by the way. That's how it should look. Okay, N1 is up to 20. Okay, and now we're waiting for 52. And we'll set the prop noise here in a second. And we're at 52. And all we're going to do is turn the starter off. Okay. All right, now I'll explain what I just did here in a minute. Okay. And the starter is now off. Okay. First off, let's see if that quiets us. Okay, good. It's not too bad now. Let me see if... Okay, hopefully we're in a good position there. All right. So let's continue on. We don't have the inverters. I wish we did. We don't. Engine instruments all check out good. What do we have on here? Why is our fuel low? That was really weird. Okay. Really weird. And general, okay, so let's come back out to here, switch, we're on generator and we are charging. Let's check alternator, same thing. And standby power is on, fuel boost is, let's go ahead and turn that off for now. Clean on the board. Avionics on. Now the avionics switches, folks, are right here, which powers up our load here. We'll get our transponder to standby. Nav lights and beacons were already on. Suction gauge, heating and ventilation. We'll go ahead and get the bleed on. And the air conditioning. And some cockpit lighting. All right, folks, let's get our radios set up. But first, what did I do with that starter switch? Why did I hit it a couple times? Okay, first off, when the ignition switch is on, you get this blue light. When you fire up, if you don't, there's a little itty, I don't know if it's, you want to call it a bug, a quirk, whatever. When you go to off, it won't turn off like it just did. But if you hit the starter button once, twice to close it, 3 times, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Once you're back, it should turn off when you move it to off. All right, so let's continue on. So we're going to be programming. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the GPS. It's a whole lot easier for this 56-year-old to be able to read those. Yeah, I know, I could go like this and put it in the middle. Why? All right, so we are set up with the X-Plane GPS 430. Not my favorite, but hey, it works. That's all that matters. So what I want to do, you got 2 rings here. You got the outer and the inner one and a push. First thing we're going to do is move that to here. Nice thing is you're seeing your airport. So we need to set our flight plan. So we kick flight plan. Now that doesn't make me feel better. So what we're going to do is click, clear, enter. Hopefully this is going to work. Clear, enter. PAFM is there. I don't know why it's doing that here lately. Oh, clear. Okay. Outer ring, will move it down. Okay, our first fix is... Where's my route? Oh, there it is. ATAGO. A T. Okay, now to move it over to the next one, go to the outer ring. You'll see it moves over. ATA, we're fine there. Then we'll move it one more. Go to, whoop, come back to G. O. So we go over, bring it up to O. Now, if there's multiples, it'll tell you. Alaska here, you can even verify the chords. Click enter and that'll accept it. And then finally, HSL. So again, and a good thing about having to set this up here in the stand, you're warming up as well. Okay, Huslia, Alaska, and again the chords. That's it, folks. And then we can put in Papa, Alpha, Hotel, and Lima. Huslia. Enter. Now the good thing here is when you go this route, we can review the route, departure, airport, arrival, and the route. With the Kingair, I can't get the airports in there, but with this one, I can. So that's why we pretty much went with Caravan. Plus, they're short flights. I may be here soon, popping it with the, and then if you push here, it'll take that, so you won't be able to move it. And this, okay, and so that's why we chose the Caravan. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. You may hear, or may see here soon, a Navajo. You might see Kodiak, which is actually what this prop tour was set up around. The Kodiak and the Caravan are almost identical airplanes, just built by different people. I mean, you put them side by side, you can see the differences, but boy, there aren't many. So there you go, folks. Now, if you take this inner ring here, this push center cursor, and turn it, it'll show you all the ones you've saved. And then back puts us on the flight plan. Click flight plan, and there we are back. Okay, so let's look at that flight plan. Okay. What I want to do is our initial heading. I'm just getting here to the flight plan. $122. Boy, they do not make it easy. Okay, so now I will zoom in, kind of move over 122. Kind of just, that looks good. Okay, now. That'll be pretty close, and what we're going to do is move the radar now to standby, right? The first notch, and you're going to get a test basically, which actually is not right. Oh, they need to work on that. Anyway, so there you go. We're set with this. We're going to put the flight director on. You'll be able to see the bar now. We're on. Okay, and everything is set. One last look at Sky Vector 403. We do have an NDB here. There we go. And altitude needs to be set. All right, we are all set, ready to go. Let's continue our checklist. Taxi. All right, so one step left to do. Is my ACARS program, get it ready to go, and it's all set, ready to go. I just doing one test here. Okay. And start flight. Just doing a refresh here. There we go. And there I am at the top of the world. And before we move, I want to make sure we're clear with SATC. No weather. Go to day. We'll stay on night. Actually, that actually looks better. All right, so we're on the map. Now, this map has us as a jet. Oh, well. We're not going to get overly concerned, but we're ready to taxi, folks. And again, feel free to pick up a plane. Join us up here, folks. This looks like beautiful flying weather. We'll even go ahead before we release those brakes. Yeah, we're showing clear there, so and 8 degrees. So folks, we're into 40s and 50s, mid to northern Alaska. Folks, you can't get, you can't pass that up. And here we go. All right, taxi lights on. Get our pitot and stall on. Windshield on. One last look outside the plane. Here we go. Parking brakes off. Now, one thing I found to get this thing moving, sometimes you got to really give it some gas. And we'll set the flaps as we get close to the runway. But folks, here is the preferred Alaskan turf next to mud, gravel. All right, brakes work. All right, next page here. Seatbelts are set, flight controls. We're gonna do that right now. Let me bring this back. Okay, everything looking good. Okay, fuel boost to normal, tanks are both on, quantities check, fuel shutoffs fully in, elevator set for takeoff. Okay. Okay, power check. Okay, 400 foot-pounds. Standby power. Okay, so we'll keep us in nav for now on the GPS switch. Okay, so we are ready to go. We're in high RPM, props fully forward. Okay. All right, so we're going to turn the ignition and the fuel pumps on. We got a red light. What do we got a red on? Okay, that's why I don't fly with it usually. Okay, we're going to set flaps to 10. And fuel condition lever is at high idle. All right, folks, so what we're going to be doing is basically taking off here on runway 1. Once airborne, we'll turn to intercept our departure radial 120. Kind of fly it out off the NDB. We'll see if we can. Not holding my breath, and I'm not holding my breath on the ability to do this, folks. All right, so over to Alt, FD, bear with me because I don't know what the yaw damper is. I know there's a switch. Oh, there isn't. That sucks. Yeah, that's the other thing. I wish they would model that here too. Oh well. So we're on our way. And we are connected, correct? No, center. Ambler traffic, Mac Air 572, departing runway 1. Altimeter setting 2999. Still not enough. Oh. There we go. All right, folks, here we go. And for those who like to critique us, we're on time. If anything, early. Strobe lights on. Okay, and all right, lights are on. All right, folks, we're cleared for takeoff, and here we go. Rotate speed is 70. 80 is what we're going to try and initially climb out, and then we'll level down.
V1.
95.
Rotate. V2.
And as we come around, flaps up.
$2,500.
Come around a little tighter. Sure the flaps are up, and they are. Okay, now what I had to do on takeoff here, folks, and I always do this, I gotta be careful not to go past the red line on your torque. I went past it. We'll hang with it. We're gonna set the prop. Actually, I'm gonna kind of zoom in. Okay, so here's my torque just above red line. Pull back slightly. And then we're gonna set the props to 1900. Actually, I think the red line is 1900. We just set them to 1850. Okay, and let's pop the GPS out. We could have done that while we were there. See, it's still coming on. Then it's going to start slowly turning us on course, which is what it's doing now. All right, folks, we are climbing out of Ambler, heading to Huslia. First fix is Atco, climbing up to 7,000 feet. Oh, we're at 1,200 feet a minute. We'll keep doing that as long as we're at 100 knots. Climbing at 95 en route climb. It's about 110 to 120, so we'll lower that a little. And we'll just try to maintain 120 as we climb out of here, folks. There you go. We're on our way. We want to thank you all for joining us. Hopefully will be an interesting day. My laptop is still being funny over here, so we're not going to encourage it. All right, and we are now in the cruise climb up to 7,000, and ITT is at 700, so we're good there. Torque 1865, that's where we're at. All right, folks, we are in good condition here. Let's go ahead. Go on with the radar, even though I don't think we're going to need it. But I do see a lot of clouds ahead of us. G-Nice for you. Welcome aboard. Nice to see you. Saw you last night on Melvin Leroy's stream. That looked like a fun flight from San Francisco, the way he went to Mather and then down. But I'm glad you joined us. One day you're going to just have to get an airplane and join us in the sky. Okay, so we are now coming up on 7,000. Excuse me. Oh, of course. Hang on a second. Okay. Gotta love it when the coughs want to outdo you. We're going to go ahead and restart that laptop and see if that helps. Yeah, I said restart. What part of restart do you not understand, laptop? Computers. Okay, so we just went through 7,000. Let's make sure our trim is set right to allow it to catch the altitude properly. And I find if I set my trim on my throttle to the null positions right in the middle, she seems to do a pretty good job of holding altitudes. True or false? I don't know. Alright, we looks like our suction gauge is in the green, so we're doing good there. And let's go ahead, bring this needle on around, as well as our heading bug in case we have troubles. Okay, we are set and ready to go. The laptop isn't. That's fine. It'll take probably till next year for itself to wind down and come back up. Alright. That is my cue. Let's hop outside and take a look. Ooh. Sorry to make you all dizzy with that one. Did not mean for that. There we go, folks. Nice shot of it. Come around here and see if we can catch that mountain range in any way. I know this much, folks. If this was a real plane, that bouncing around, I would not want to be the ground crews or the air crews like myself cleaning that up. By the looks of things, we may get lucky. That may stay east of us. Let's get those lights off. Whoops. All right, let's see who's all here. All right. Alright folks, we got, fortunately we do not have DME on this one. The only DME we have, it's not that one, it's the other way. We're 50 miles from Attico. As long as we do a course of 158, which we're pretty close to, we'll be in good shape. Let's get back to the map. And we'll zoom out a little. There we go. Oh, Wilk. Let's pull up Wilk and see. 14.2. Okay, and for those of you who aren't familiar with how to work these GPSs, if you push the CV button, what you're doing is moving the cursor from COM to VOR. That's on this side. Pushing the cursor over here basically highlights that cursor, which then will give you a menu you can work from. Pushing it again takes that highlight away. Alright, so we've got the frequency set. All we got to do is move it up. Then we can get back up here to our frequencies. And yeah, I'm silly. I didn't even realize it. Put the distance right up here on the GPS. Okay, I'm going to go assume room temperature as we fly down to ATAGO. Well, my laptop's 1/3 of the way back up. Compliments of AVG, which I'm starting to not really like as well, but that's a different story for a different time. Okay. So, any questions, comments, feel free to put those in the chat box. We are glad for those of you who are joining us. If you like what you're seeing, you like this kind of flying, let us know. Always looking for new flights to fly. Jay Drums, one of our followers, has us on a around the world tour that I'm kind of using a variety of aircraft on. Next leg for that, and I don't know when it'll be, is to St. Petersburg, Russia, out of Warsaw. Haven't decided plane or date on that one yet. Also, what's that? That's suggested Mid-America. Oh, Spool Up 2. Another follower suggested Mid-America Airport to Pensacola. That one may be coming up here sooner than later, because that could be flown in the Airbus, and that's a fun plane, the A320 from Flight Factor. So, well, I can see we're starting to catch up to that cloud layer. But flying up here in Alaska, folks, is fun. A lot of great planes you can use if you just want to fly bush. With the GA, you can fly really any of them. But the Beaver, the Otter, from de Havilland, Caravan, Kingairs, I mean, they're all great aircraft up here. Or you can just take the Seneca. The Navajo. The Navajo is also one of the commercial aircraft used in the bush. But you could take the Seneca, the Arrow, the Cessnas, 172, 152 might even be fun up here. Piper Cubs. Folks, there's some little landing strips out here that are usable. So just a little distracted by my laptop. Sorry, folks. But anyway, so yeah, if you want to fly up here in Alaska, folks, there is some beautiful flying. Yes, the weather can get tricky really quick here. Remember stories that I read during World War II? This was down in the Aleutians. The bomber pilots would fly out of their bases around Dutch Harbor, heading out towards the Japanese-held Aleutians. They would count the storms they flew over, knowing they got to fly that many storms back to base. Gives you an idea, a lot of storms. And this one I did not know about, but we are coming up to Attico. Let me let's get some information up here for you. All right, we got the Sim Toolkit overlay in place. Just go ahead. My laptop is 2/3 of the way up now. It's old, folks, so almost as old as I am. but not completely. I'm still functional. It's getting... Anyway. And again, I am just flabbergasted at the air speeds I'm getting out of it here lately. This is incredible. The 160, usually I'm between 120, 140. Man, when I went to X-Plane, I'm getting close to 160. So I'm real happy we're getting the aircraft to push like it should. All right, so it looks like potential instrument approaches. I guess I'll sign into NavGraph. Yeah, this really has gotten old. The number of times on these flights we have to sign in is just ridiculous. When you say remember me, why have the button if it ain't gonna remember you? So, oh well. I know that's what they say. Oh well. That kind of irritated me at a job that I had before the firehouse again. Oh well, you know, our system isn't the greatest. Oh well, it's all we have to work with. Fortunately, I had to say that, and that kind of irritated me that I had to say it. Oh well. Alright, so we just about got Sim Toolkit up here. We're going to do a quick arrival brief. Really not sure. We do have RNAVs, okay. We may have to fly an RNAV today, at least to get under the clouds. So we'll kind of gauge it out. Let me see. Why does this plane just not want to behave? Off and the ignitions. Okay. Well, let's see here. One last check at that METAR. Well, the greatest way, G-Nice, for you to learn the sims is dive in. Alaska's a good place. ATC, especially if you're on VATSIM, a good chance you're not going to run into ATC, but yet you've got them if you need help in getting to where you need to get to. Plus, beautiful scenery all around you, especially in FSX, or FSX. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lord, I can feel the crowd coming at me to beat me. No, in X-Plane. Phenomenal scenery, and I can only imagine what Microsoft Flight Sim has done with it. This is just beautiful country up here. So, okay, it's still one to climb. But yeah, coming up here, you know, doing some flying in the little airplanes, or down in the States, but up here, you get all the beauty of Alaska on top of learning how to fly. So, Alright, so looking at our... Hello, METAR, did I screw it up? There we go. Alright, so we got a calm winds. Ooh, I get to pick the way I come in. I love when I get to do that. Alright, I know SimBrief went for runway 21. So I probably will too. Alright, so let's see here. Taking a look at the airfield. Yeah, 2-1 puts us, well, I think I've gone ahead and looked at these airfields. We're not going to see some of this stuff. So we're going to come in 2-1, so we'll use that one. Gate badge, G-A-B-A-G-E. Okay. Actually, yeah, we'll go to that one. Okay, so G-A-B-G-E. Okay. Alright, so we got Sim Toolkit about ready to go here. We're about 13 miles out from Atco. So let's do that approach. What I'm going to do is bring Sim Toolkit up here with the map as a side-by-side. Sorta, kinda. Okay, so let's move that over. There we go. And you can still see the lovely clouds. Alright, so from Sim Toolkit, you can see we're starting to show up on the map that we have here. Here's Atco. We're going to come down the Victor 477. Correct? Oh, killing me here, laptop. Alright, so we're going to come down to Victor 477, basically to HU or HSL. What is that frequency? $17.44. Okay. So what we'll do, again, click here to move it down. 1740. Okay. And then move that up. Now that's going to give us our DME information now. Okay, so there we go. We have that set. So as we turn in, we're going to head for the VOR, and we're going to probably go direct somewhere within about 10 miles, 10 to 15 miles of the airfield. We'll just go direct to our fix and work our way in. We're going to go through that approach right now. Only reason I don't want to do this is it's going to put us like way, like, and this is exaggerating, folks, but you get the idea. We're going to be constantly correcting. But if I go this way and slow down enough, it should keep us on course. Keyword should. All right, so here is the approach plate. This is a Jepson plate. It is one of the better ones, so that's the only thing that makes Navgraph a decent choice for us, is that we do get the Jeps. But I'm here to tell you, SkyVector in the US has these for free, and you don't even have to pay for the subscription. Anyway, off that soapbox. Across the top, if we have ATC, that's your strip there of frequencies. will be on 122.8, the Unicom, so no worries there. Now, we can't set this channel for the approach. That will be set in the GPS. I know there's a way to look for it, folks. If you're in the chat room, you know, I would love to know where you find that. I know on some of the jetliners you can find it, but again, I don't remember where. But anyway, we're going to go to the Gabaj. Then we're going to turn 122 direct Jetad, Jetad. Then we're going to turn on our final approach course 212, heading in, passing Pado for the runway. So that gives you the idea of what we're doing, what we're seeing up here. Now, minimum altitude is 1,800 feet by Pado. We're not going to go below 3,600 feet on this leg of it here. So when we get to where I'm ready to descend, 3,600 is what I'm going to put in. And then once we come around the horn here, we'll start descending to 1,800 feet. Decision altitude's 517, which is 300 feet above ground level. And as you can see, the airport elevation's 220. Missed approach, basically climb to 3,000 direct ECAGU right here. And then what are we going to do? Then via 164 to Hysab, where we'll go into a hold. We have a procedure turn to hit in order to come back and get into the hold properly. Of course, we all know 18,000 feet in the US is the transition level. Here is our descent, 3,600 at Jetad. So from there, we'll drop to 1,800 and then on the glide path. Now, to achieve that 3-degree glide path here they want us on, our approach speed is going to be, stand by, I've got to roll my chart up. Oh, where are you? Where are you? There you are. Okay, with the weight that we're going to be bringing in, 73 is our landing speed, so I'm going to plan us at about 90 coming down. So all you do is you take the chart here, 90, come across to 3% or 3 degrees, sorry. And that's going to put us at about a 478 foot a minute drop, folks. If you want to be exact, go for it. Good luck finding that sweet spot of 478 on the gauges. I'm going to shoot for 500. And then you've got a couple of missed, you know, we're going to be watching for it as we come down. Your 517, 1 mile and a quarter, folks, we're clear. We don't have to worry about that. And I can see we're clear. So, all right, we are now inbound to the airport. Once we're on the ground, we're going to do the best we can to park here, but I believe it's not modeled. So we'll find a spot close to it and call it, hey, we're there. All right, folks, so there you go with the departure arrival brief. I'm sorry, correction, arrival brief. Let's get everything set up. Let's find out how far out we are. 23 miles, so we're about 10 miles from where I'm going to start descending. And again, folks, we're only coming down to 3,600 feet. So, for those of you G-nice for you. I'm going to try here. We got about 13 miles. Let me see what Captain Mac has out here for you. He's a guy that really got me into streaming. I was already flying maybe before he was. I don't know. It's not a contest, so I ain't worried about it. Where is it? Hang on, hang on. Oh, there's my subscriptions. Yo, Captain Mac, where are you hiding? He did a very good tutorial on charts. All right, let me put this in the box. Here's a video you might want to watch. Again, it's not me, it's Captain Mac. I don't know if I could give it the justice he does. I learned these, believe it or not, in instrument training, but I didn't learn enough of them to be able to say I know something about them. That makes sense. Let me see where we are, 17 miles. So I'd rather, he does a good job, and he articulates it very well. I'd kind of stumble through. So give it a try. Let me know if that helps you out. The charts are very good, but the problem is you got to put the aviation to the charts. And that's where it gets kind of fun. Whoops. Okay, so I'm just shortening up the radiuses. Come back out. We're going to get one last look here before we start our descent. You can see, welcome to Alaska, folks. Folks, there are no roads to most places in the state. Some limited trains, because the mines in north of Otsblue, the train goes in and out. Up here, airplane for the most part. Some parts along the rivers you can get in with a boat, but folks, you're looking at the car for Alaska. Piper Cubs, Cessnas, Pipers, Beechcraft, all of those, they're the automobile of the undiscovered country of Alaska. Okay, we are 13 miles out. We are going to set our descent. Okay, 3,600 feet. Now, other thing we've got to do is actually put the procedure in here. So we're going to select the approach by clicking enter. We're going runway 21. So again, just scroll down to it, click enter. Gabage is our initial, enter, load. Okay, and then see, this is why I like the 530. The 700 may be just as good. I don't know. But we're going to turn. Here, all we got to do, I'm sorry, I'm doing it the hard way. Go back to the procedure page. Go up one, activate approach. Enter. What it's going to do is set us on the course to Gabage, to Jeddah, and in. We're 15 miles out of Gabage. Time to start thinking about coming down. So, let's get the checklist ready to roll. Oop, we don't want to shut down a little too far in the process. Here we go. All right, so ice protection is set as we need. We turn that off. Go to the map. See, we're headed direct Gabage. So now to come down, all we do, let me zoom in so y'all really get a good look at this. Okay, you just click arm. Arm lights up, engage. Back off a little bit of power right now. To about 1500, let's see how it does. and then increase your descent to about 8 to 900, somewhere in there, and it's going to come down nice and easy. Judge it as you go along. If it doesn't seem right in your head that you're going to make 3600 by garbage, steepen it, lessen it. You're the pilot. I'm also going to put 1420 down. Oh, I think I did already. Push that over. I'm going to set the OBS for 212. And all this is going to help me out with is how we look coming down the, I think it's 212, stand by. 212. Oh, guess what? Did it again. Be gone. All right, sorry about that, folks. Still had Sim Toolkit up. Oh well. Rule of the basically, what I do is when I'm in low altitude flying, like with the GA aircraft, 10 to 15 miles out is usually good to be at or around 5,000 feet. So if you want to figure out where you want to be at that point, great. I just know that about 10, at that point, I can get the plane down for the arrival. But again, you got to kind of feel that out on your own. But the rule that's out there, and this is for airliners, kind of goes like this. This is complicated. So basically, just kind of plan on it about 10 to 15 miles from your airport being at 3 or 5,000, within 5 miles at 2 to 3,000, whatever the pattern altitude is. Because if you're at high altitude, obviously these numbers are elevated. But you want, we'll just say above the ground. So that way you can kind of figure it, because if you're going into Denver and try, well, let's see, I need to get to 2,000 feet, well, you're going to hit a mountain, or the ground, or both, and go kersplat. So just plan about 5,000 feet above the ground at about 10 mile out, into the pattern altitude around within, once you get in there. I'm going to shut up because I'm going to get it real confusing here real quick. All right, so we're getting close. There's 4,000, and we are 3 miles out. And I'm going to pull some more power back. The other thing you want to watch is your speeds. Because remember, you got to bleed all of that off the land. The nice thing is if you can get to 3,600 feet before this turn, you got all that level flight to bleed speed off with. Okay, we're starting to bleed it off nicely. So I'm going to be shooting for 140 on the turn here. By the time I get to JetAD, I want to be at least 120 or slower. So I can start throwing some flaps down to help. Here we go, leveling off, and you can see how it bleeds it off for you then. Okay, we're at 140. Let's go ahead and bleed a little more. And the good thing is we're going to fly this to JetAD. Then we'll start our next descent. I believe they said 1,800. Those people would not be doing well back there. And see, this is what I was trying to achieve. We try to stay on the course as best we can. I'm just setting gauges so we'll be pretty much on track. This I hate. I hate porpoising. And we're going to turn the radar to land. Don't have any clouds to worry about. Okay, here we come to Jetad. You'll get the message again down here of how many seconds. 217. Liar, liar, pants on fire, it's 212. I checked the chart. Okay, now we're on the LPV. That's the GPS approach. Now, we're going to start our descent. Same thing. Arm. Engage. We said go at about, let's see here, we got 6 miles. So we're kind of steeping it up a little. Just can't go below 1,800 feet, folks. See, I let my speed get up again in that descent. Okay, so let's start looking for the runway, folks. Yeah, it's going to be like that. Okay, it's going to be tough to find. That's fine. Okay. I am going to steepen this up a little bit more.
2,500.
About halfway there, folks. No idea where this runway is going to be. Although I think that might be it right there. Okay, let's go through the final checks here. Pitot-static heat's on, seatbelts are on. We've got our nav GPS switch set. Power as required. We're holding right at or slightly above 120, leveling off at 1,800 feet. But I think those lights in front of us are the runway. We'll get in a little closer. A little further to go. Okay. Don't want to get much below 120. That's our flap speed, folks. That's why I use that. I can actually kick a notch of flaps out if I need it. Okay, and power is set. Now before landing, seatbelts are set, fuel selectors on, fuel condition, levers high idle, props high idle. And radar off. Autopilot will be going off here shortly, and there we go. Oh. I'm taking, well, we're going to let her bring her in. Actually, it's my plane. .10° flaps. And I think y'all can now see the airport. At the other end is where that ramp is. That's why I chose this way, folks. With a calm wind, why not? Okay. Slow to about 100. That's what we're going to try to maintain. And we're drifting.
1,000.
All right, so let's notch in 20 degrees flaps. And before we do any of that, let's get the lights on.
$500.
And flaps full.
$400.
As you can see, that vertical speed held at about 500 feet most of the way down, folks. Also, I'm going off the PAPIs, not so much the gauges. PAPIs are white over red, or white red. All red, you're dead. All white, you're high. Okay.
200.
Lead off just
100.
a little more. Bring her down to around 80.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And let's go into reverse. And we're in beta. Okay, we'll take it. 324. Yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what Mac Air clocked us at. We're going to get down by that windsock. I'll take it though, folks. I've had worse landings in this plane. And I'll be nice and kick the lights on so they can start gathering their stuff behind us, those 7 people. All right. Getting close here. All right. Let's take a look out here. Yeah, that ramp's not here. So we're gonna fake it. Let's see. We turn here. And what I'm doing is just using Sim Toolkit. To kind of gauge where we are. Further, getting a little crooked, we'll go this way. Parking brake set. Okay, flaps up. Okay, ice protection coming off. Lights off. Strobes off. Okay, we're going to go to Okay, so we got our radios and everything dialed down to save on power. Standby power to off. All right, let's go ahead and shut those avionics down. Standby power to off, fuel boost off, bleed air off, air conditioning off. And we'll go top side, oxygen off. And let's go ahead and feather out that prop. Fuel to cut off. Trim lever set. Oxygen, I already did. Controls locked, fuel tanks off, tie down. All right, beacon off. All right, let me get out, get everything going here, and we're going to go ahead, log this flight. All right, Mac Air has us at 322 as well. Yeah, that did look really smooth also to me, but folks, I don't complain as long as it doesn't have a 1 in front of it. Unless, of course, it says 122, then I'm happy. All right, so let's stop this flight. Pirate filed. All right. Just making sure it did do just what it said. I actually had one once, folks, that didn't. That's why I do this. Okay, and we are now parked. All right, folks, I want to thank you for the first half of this. We're going to try and turn this airplane around here as quickly as we can. So bear with us here as we get some music going here and see what we can do to get that second flight going. Again, forgive me if there's any commercials in the music. It's just I haven't paid for Spotify yet, so that's why. So, folks, we'll be right back.